Welcome to the next segment of AutoCrit's Coffee Break. My name is Bekah Brinkmeier, your host and resident author coach here at AutoCrit. I am so excited to be sitting down today with Scott. Scott, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Fantastic. I know we got to chat a little bit about what you've been working on, but I want you to tell our listeners if you could just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you are writing.
Well, um, uh, let's see. Started writing 2 years ago. I'm into the fantasy trope, the fantasy genre, with a mix of historical fiction. I've finished a trilogy, and the whole part of the world building process is that the historical fiction of modern today is involved within a fantasy trope, and it's inserting those characters as they're going into the fantasy trope and the different challenges they have, and
Mhm.
understanding the motivations that we have, whether it's what we call good beings versus evil beings. And the trilogy is a wonderful story. It's a wonderful good versus evil manipulation, making choices and sacrifices. It's just a fun genre world building story, just kind of a big epic trilogy. Just kind of moves along, has a lot of fun along with it too at the same time.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And I think one of the cool things about writing in fantasy is you get to make up anything that I write fiction, so I can technically make up anything I want. But in fantasy, you get to create the society. You get to
Yes.
create all of these rules, and you can create that in any fashion you want. I love that you're bringing in the historical piece as well to be able to add a little bit of context to
Yes.
some of these worlds that you are creating. That just sounds like so much fun to write.
It
Oh
is.
my
It's a lot
goodness.
of fun. It is. And when I write though too, I always think of the reader though too. And this is my experience of being a former middle school teacher is I think about it has to make sense to them when I
Yes.
write it. And if it makes sense, even with that little bit of fantasy edge to it, where you can kind of like imagine it happening, I think that's a perfect blend.
I
So
think ultimately a lot of people read to escape and they want to see something relatable in some of these
yes,
characters. They want to see themselves, whether that person be a person or an elf or what have you. They
yes,
want to see some of those universal characteristics that they can
yep.
then relate that struggle to their own life. Um, I want to talk though, when we are writing and we're busy building these worlds and putting these beautiful themes in, and we have these big plans. What I always run into, and I know this is a shared struggle with pretty much every author I've spoken to, is then we get to the editing process and we've
Yes.
created this marvelous world, but now it's time to fine tune it. And that can be such a challenge. So, I guess my question for you is what
hmm
is one common kind of editing struggle that you run into with your own work, and what's something you've used to kind of overcome that?
Um, I have a tendency to just write. Uh, I mean, just kind of write, just brainstorm writing per se. I've installed some basic through recommendations, some basic software to kind of help at least clean up some of the editing as I go. I
Yes.
like that because then when I'm able to go back, and I know that no editing software is perfect, and then when I go back and read it, I can pick up some of the different things. And my recommendation too is when you do editing, pick do a chapter, don't do
Hmm.
anything more than that, and print it out, set it down, and just relax and just do a chapter. You can sit on the back porch on a nice day and just kind of go through it. And you got to put it down and then come back to it again. It takes several times through the editing process when you do that too, as well. So those are a couple things that I would suggest.
Awesome. Have you used the story analyzer feature that we have here at the AutoCrit platform to kind of help you get those big picture ideas nailed down in your own work?
Yes, I have. I have. And I've done that more exclusively with the fourth book I'm working on currently right now. So it's helped brainstorm ideas, and I've even incorporated some of the ideas to kind of let the analyzer do some more stuff too with it as well. So it's nice. I've done that.
Yeah, I think one of the things I love about using the analyzer is that developmental level feedback, kind of like a beta reader that is just on call for you. A lot of times I'm not going in through my line edits at that point. I am looking to make sure that I didn't like accidentally kill someone in chapter 5 and bring them back to life in chapter 12.
Yes,
That
I
did happen
understand.
once. And I didn't have the analyzer on that book. I did have a beta reader who still teases me mercilessly about that, and it's been years. So it is one of those things that is can be an integral part of our editing toolkit. One of the other things that we do have on our platform is analysis of world building. Now, you write in fantasy, so
Yes.
world building is so important. And what is your approach to world building?
A lot of it's just past experiences based on my readings. I've read a lot of fantasy novels, especially through the Forgotten Realms series.
Mhm.
Lots of great authors through that, and just kind of meshing all my eyes to get all my ideas together just to create something. And what I've done too, and some authors have suggested this, I've created a map, which has
Yeah.
also helped organize my thoughts. So, because as I was describing in my first book where all these characters are going, I said I need to kind of like figure out a map so I understand what I'm saying so I can convey it to the readers as well.
That's fantastic. And also, as a reader of fantasy, I love a good map. So that is definitely something that I would get so into if I don't write a lot. I write romantasy every now and then, but I don't write a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fantasy. But I think the building of the world, the crafting all of these little
Yes.
details, that I would spend so much time doing that because it's just so fun. Oh
Yeah,
my
it
goodness.
is. I agree. It's a lot of
Now,
fun.
since this is a coffee break, we have one quick question for you before we
Sure.
wrap up. I'm going to pretend that we just met in an actual coffee shop. You just told me that you're an author, and I'm
Yes.
going to ask that question that we all get. What do you write? So, while I know that your book is still being brought to market, I want you to sell me and our listeners on your work. Go.
I am writing a book. It's about fantasy and imagine a character that lives among us, goes through the same struggles as us, going into a world where everything is unknown. He doesn't know how anything works. He has to make choices. He has to go through, it's almost like starting from the very beginning. But then as he goes through, he's pulled into the drama of good versus evil and goes through those same struggles, but on a very different level. And it's a great. I like the book because it's really about choices, and you get to watch the character development and other characters and their motivations as they go through it, and at the same time have a lot of fun because it's fantasy, so a lot of crazy stuff happens, but it's good stuff, and it'll throw a few loops for the readers as well. So it's just following that character and just watching that journey.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love a good quest. I love a good progression arc. So I think this is going to be fantastic and I can't wait to hear about it once it is available for sale. So thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your time, your insights, and of course, this information about your work. It has been a pleasure to have you on our AutoCrit coffee break.
No, greatly appreciate the time.
All right, and thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Keep writing, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.